So here we go. I'm going to take up from where I left off last time. And I don't know, here's the starting point, I guess. And so I got some notes. No, not in here, sorry. That's my video. Lecture notes in here. Just trying to remember what I did. So here's, this business about the script, with the defer attribute and async. This is important. I went over that, and now I'm into here, and deployed a simple web app. I see. So this is actually running on the public internet. So what am I going to do? Open link in new tab. Here we go. And so we have just the shell of the app right now. So we loaded the web page. This is a message area. We loaded the web page, and this is a message area right there. So we send a login link, and we just imagine going to the email, clicking on the login link, and then redirect back to the application, and it says logged in and hi, and then we can, of course, log out. So we got that part implemented, but it's all pretending. So what we're going to do is get that thing done now. And the thing to keep straight here is, which I wasn't clear about when I first started working on this, is that this method of logging in, you have to think that you have to realize that the web page is going to be loaded by the browser in two different ways. In the first way, the user is just going to the website in some way. They're finding a link to it or whatever, and they're loading the website, the web page, and it says, you're not logged in. So you go, all right, send a login link, and then that sends a link to your email. And then when you click on the email link, that it ends up making your browser reload in another tab, like most likely. In a new tab, your browser will load the web application, but when it does that, it also sends some header information, some information in the HTTP headers, or it could even include some information in other parts of the HTTP request message to let the system, to let Firebase know that someone is trying to log in using an email link. And so the web page has to detect between those two situations. So here's the web page, and I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. I've got two files open. It's the index.html file, and here I'm loading the Firebase libraries, calling Firebase init right there to initialize. And then I'm loading here and running this a.js file. And these are set to defer. That means they're loaded as quickly as the browser can load them, but they won't be executed until the whole web page is loaded. And then these scripts will run, but before the DOM content loaded event is triggered. And you'll see inside this a.js, we listen for this DOM content loaded event right there. We have a listener on the document object to listen for that. So we know that when this runs, that these libraries up here will have already been loaded and run, and this Firebase init script will already have run. Now, not everything needs to execute on this event. In particular, we don't need to define the login function when the DOM content loaded event occurs. And we can define the login function as soon as we load this file. We don't have to wait for the web page to load itself to define the login function. The same with the logout function. We can define the logout function while the web page is still being initialized. We don't have to wait. But this code down here, this code here must wait. You must wait until the web page has been initialized before we execute this code. So that's how we distinguish to what goes where. And we're wrapping all of this up. This is a review. We're putting all this inside its own function, which we sort of call itself. It's called an anonymous function. And the reason for that is we want these function names, login and logout, to be scoped within this function definition. We don't want these names, login and logout, to ascend into the global namespace. But because they're defined in the same function block that we define this callback function right there, it's called a callback function. It's called later on. That these login, the identifiers login and logout as function names are visible inside this block of code. So that's where we use it. We use the login here and logout there. So that's how that works. Let's see. I wonder what this is. What does that mean right there? Why is there a 1 on there? Changes. Okay. I need to save something. I got it. All right. How do I get rid of that? There we go. So, what we do now, and one thing that I wasn't clear about when I started writing this was what I had mentioned earlier when I first started, which is that this page is going to be loaded in 2 different situations. One is the user going there, not logged in, and they're clicking the link that says, right here, to send me a login link. So that's one side. So if we're logging in, then we want to set this div to display block instead of display none. So we see we see this we see the input field and the button, the submission button. And now the link is sent to the email, and the user clicks on that link. They reload this page, or they load it anew in a new tab or a new window, if that's how that works on your system. Now, when that is loaded, then Firebase, this library here, this auth library, in conjunction with this init code right there, it will parse the data coming in from the user clicking that login link. And it'll know that, oh, this is a login. This is a login activity. And so we will not, in that case, once we detect that, we will not display this block here. We're going to display this block here. It's going to let us know that we're logged in, and we just are going to log out, that we can log out. So we display the logout button. So in other words, this when this thing is loaded, so when the document is loaded, so we have this inner HTML, that's fine. And then we're going to do something like this. We're going to say if the user, so if I'll do it like this, make it a comment. If this is a login, if this is a page load, from clicking the login, the email login link, clicking the login link sent to email, then we're going to do this. So it'll be like this. So I'll do something like this. If true, we'll just do it like that. Then the oops, I don't want to use tabs. Then this is, that we're going to, well, we're not going to display that quite yet. So if this is the, if this is true, if this is a page load from clicking the login link sent to the email, then what we're going to do is we're going to ask another question. It's, well, you know, if we're going to do, and I'm just saying this because I know there's an extra step in here. So if the, you know, just if the request passes a check, then I'm going to say if it passes a security check, and I'm not sure that it is a security check, but it is something that's recommended. We'll see that in a minute. Something recommended by Firebase. If the request passes some kind of a check, then they're logged in. So we just do this. So we're going to have another. We'll have another condition there. So another if true here. So we're going to assume all of this is succeeds here. Okay, so we're going to say, you know, if that's true. Sorry about that. And then we're going to display the logout link. And what is this here? This is the logout button. So we don't really need this there, do we? We don't need this one. We don't need that one. This one here, we can put it up up here. That's the login link here. I'm not sure where to put that one. Maybe maybe it should go down here. Actually, I'm going to do it down here. And so here we have the conditions. So if this passes this check, then we have we're going to have an else clause here. This is that we're just loading the page. We're not logged in. We haven't logged in with the login link. We're just loading the page. And so that means we're going to do something like, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to make the logging in display equal to block. That's because we're logging in. And otherwise, this means we are logged in. So this means we are logged in. And so it means we do this business up here, basically. So you are logged in. And yeah, I guess I could have just called login there. Let's see, let's do it like that. Let's do it like that. So we're just going to call login here. That's how I set it up originally. So this stuff is, this stuff goes up here. And it's already in there. I don't think I need to add this, right? So that's already there. This is, yeah, this should be set to none anyway. And let's see this. Want to make sure that that handler there is registered to listen. That's that logout button. We want to make sure that that's turned on. All right, so that's if there's a login. And here we're pretending that we successfully logged in. So this is where that happens up here. And let's see, then otherwise we're going to do this, and this is going to be, and we're not going to call logout. Logout is something we call when we click this login button here. All right. All right, so I know it's a little confusing to me actually, and let's see, let's just move forward here. Let us move forward, and let's see how the app is running right now. So I'm going to do Firebase serve, start the local web server. That's port 5000. So this is going to be, I think I made a link to that in here somewhere. It's in maybe the lecture notes. Let's see. And it should be in here somewhere. No. Did I put that in there? What the heck? All right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Just a localhost 5000. There it is. Oh, it's loading. It says hi. And what I'll do is start this thing up. JavaScript console. Oh yeah, we still have these codes in here too. Number 2 in body. Let's see that. So that's, yeah, there it is. That's from last time. Let's take that out. We don't need that. So I think that's in here. And there it is right there. That script, we're in the body. So that was to analyze that was for analyzing the sequence of what happens. So we're gonna clear that, reload. It's good. It says loading, and now we're logged in. Okay, so that's the code we put in there. We made an automatic login, right? So pretend we successfully logged in. This was true, and this was true. Now let's see in Firebase how to do this. And let's see. I will go this way. Well, no. All right. Just get rid of that. In the we'll start with the docs, I guess. I've done this already once. I've already done this a couple of times. Well, no, actually once. And let's see, I'm gonna go into the guides. It's pretty good to remember. And it's hard to learn this this login from the reference directly. The reference, you would go in here, let me show you the relevant docs on this. So it would be, these are the categories for the reference. So it's kind of broken up by platform here. And you'll see this JavaScript, this is the web platform right there. So I'm gonna open that up. And then this is Firebase Auth right there, see that? And this gives an overview on that. And so it shows, this is the doc, this describes the how the JavaScript works. So this will be related to the client side. And here is this email, where is it? This email auth provider. That's what we're going to end up doing. We're going to be using this here. But, and I'll just leave that open because I want to look at these guides here. The guide, I think it's a little better to get started on login. So here's the guides, and we come down, we have a guide on something. Let's see where it is. It's in authentication right here. So authentication, and there's introduction. And these are the different app types. There's, you know, iOS, Android. Here's a web app type. Look at this, C++ app type, Unity app type. This would be like a desktop application. And this would be obviously a video game. And don't know how to explain this one, and I have a vague understanding of that one. But here is here's this the web. So this is we're building a web app right now as part of our Firebase project. And then here we have password authentication, email link authentication. And this is the guide that describes how to do this. It's explaining some benefits, and it's saying you got to go to the Firebase Console. All right, let's go to the Firebase Console. I've done this already, and because I started recording a video when I'm solving this, and I ended up deleting it because it didn't record correctly. And I was in here. This is the project I'm working in. And in this project, there's a number of Firebase features that you can turn on or off or configure in different ways. So we're concerned with authentication right now. And there's a number of different sign-in methods that you can configure. And the one that we want to configure is this email password. Now, when I first opened this up, these were turned off, okay, just to let you know. And I had to turn them on. So first I enabled this, and then I enabled the other one. This is to enable the email link, passwordless sign-in. And this is just letting the users sign up using their email address and password. And this gives us a little bit more. This lets us, you know, let users log in with an email link. They don't have to set a password. Authentication with the email link requires additional configuration. Okay, so we're good on that. So I'm going to save that setting, which, so this one is enabled. Look at, these are other authentication methods that you can use for the app, your app, phone, you know, a Google account, log in through these different social media and other web interfaces. So Twitter, you can log in using your GitHub identity, your Yahoo identity, and so on. So you can log in using other ones. So it's just that these are supported directly, but you can also configure a generic login. So there could be a system that you want to authenticate against. It's not in the list. You can still do it. I believe you can still do it, but I can't see. I don't want to get into that. So anyway, that's there. So we turn that on, and so let's go through here to initiate the authentication flows. I'm talking about authentication flows, like a flow. The user clicks this, the user enters this, the user goes there, and so on. So we have to prompt the user for the email address. We did that already. And then we call send sign-in link to request the Firebase send the authentication link. So that's got to be done. And there's some link right here. This is how this is done. Right here, there it is. There's where we call this a sign-in, the send sign-in link right there. And I'm going to copy this chunk right here. So when the users typed in their email, alrighty, they typed their email into this input field. So it's the values coming in through _email. Then and then they click this button. And when they click this button, the handler, the click handler that runs, needs to call that function that we were just looking at. And so where do they click that button? Here it is. Oh, we want the logout, when the login button is clicked. So we need to have that. That's I see it. That's why I screwed this up from the very beginning, didn't I? So I messed this up. This login, this is when the login, I'm actually going to call it login. I'm going to call it something else. I'm going to call it send login link. Send the email login link. That's what I'm going to call it. Send the email login link. And then we're going to call this right here. This is how we do it. And all right, let's try this. And now that's when they click the login button. So this is the button right here. So we're not actually calling, this is logging in. And so this is the send button here. So we're going to call, we're going to call send email login link, that one there. This is this is a better name. That's why I was confused earlier, because it didn't have a good name. So this is what we want to do when that thing is clicked. We want to send the email login link. We're not actually receiving login information yet. That does happen. That happens, I guess, in here. So this is the login process. I guess we can call it login or process login. I'm not sure yet. So here we send the login link. We tell Firebase, so it's firebase.auth. That gets us the kind of some sort of auth object, I guess, that lets us call functions against that, and then send the sign-in link. So you pass in this email, and well, we know what ours is. Remember, it's it's what the user typed in here. See, it's this text element. So it's a_email. That's the name of that. So we're going to just make that a_email. So we've got that directly. And then we have these action code settings. This is a action code settings. Is going to be some configuration information. Let's find that. It's here's the example right there, action code settings. I'm going to copy that, and I've read through this a couple of times now, so I know what's in there. I'm not going to spend time with that. There we go. The action code settings. This is the URL you want to redirect back to. And look at this. The domain for this URL must be whitelisted in Firebase Console. So that's important. This is the redirect URL, right? And it must be in the Firebase Console. It must be whitelisted there. And let's take a look at what that means. And I want to show that to you. Here is the console. And if you look at where, I'm trying to remember where this is done. Oh, authorized domains, here it is. So the local host is authorized. This is what it means. That's what that, the domain for this URL must be whitelisted in the Firebase console. So what they're talking about, these are the whitelisted domains. So if we're being redirected back to localhost, we'll allow it. If we're being redirected back to this URL or this URL, then we allow it. See, these two are with the, what do you call it? The deployed app. You look at this, servprog-6A030. Oh no, that's not true. Anyway, that's I showed it to you earlier, and I'm not gonna go down that road right now. So we did that. We've got this configured. You didn't see me do it, but I did do that. And you will need to do that. You have to add a domain and put your local host in there and so on. These I think are automatically added, but I'm not sure about that. Actually, yeah, these are, I never added these. These are automatically added. This may have been automatically added as well, like when you did the Firebase, I forget what it was, Firebase init or something. At the very beginning of the project, this might have been set up, I'm not sure. So we don't need a console anymore. I'm just going to turn that off. And these action code settings, so we're good on that action code setting. And I'm going to get rid of this comment. And the URL is going to be, well, it's going to be different. The URL will be localhost when we're running the local host, or it'll be, what was it? It'll be the one of those other URLs if we're deployed. So what I want to do is develop an expression that works for both situations. Oh, that didn't work. I know there's a way to do this. I'm going to try to pause. Let's see. No, I'm trying to pause the video and I don't see how to do it. Video settings, stop recording. Sorry about going so slow on this. Pause share. It's in here. Pause recording. All right, back. So one of the ways that I talked about, so we need to get this URL. And I did this problem before. Rather than stumble around looking for the solution, I'm just going to go back to my repo here and look at the Dell branch and look inside public, look inside a.js, and where is that line? I can't remember it. There it is. Nope, that's not it. So it's, I can't remember how to do it now. Yeah, I thought I had it in here. Maybe you see it. There it is. Huh. Oh my God, there it is. Window.location.href. Okay, that is the URL. Window.location.href. So that's the current URL. So if we went to the local host, this will be localhost colon 55,000. If we went to the public website, and that's what that'll be. So that's what we need. Handle code and app. This must be true. So we're going to set that. We've been told it must be true. We'll go with that. And these are the action code settings. So we're not running on iOS. I'm going to take these out. We are not running on Android, although we could, right? We can add that later if we want. This is, now what is this here? What is this for right there? So this one goes there, this one ends that, and then this, this seems to, this is not quite right. These are the action code settings. And dynamic link domain, I'm pretty sure we don't need that. I'm going to take that out. There we go. I'm taking that out too. Here's the action code settings. I'm experimenting to omit these semicolons. Take that out. So we have two values here. It has the URL, and that's equal to this window.location.href, comma, and then this handle code and app is set to true. Those are what we need for this application. So once we define that, we're going to define this action code settings, and then we pass that in as configuration to this function, send sign in link to email, as well as sending in the email itself. And now this is this function here, to sign in link to email, returns a promise. So that's why we're going to call the then method of that promise and pass in callback function. This is the function it runs when the activity completes, when it resolves, I think they call it, when it resolves. The link, so here's the note here, the link was successfully sent, inform the user. So we need to do that, inform the user. So inform the user, that'll be something like, we have a.message, I think. A.message dot, was it value? Is that how we're doing it? A.message dot value, or it was, I think it was inner text. Inner text equals, and we're going to say email, I'll say login link sent to email. There we go. That's the, that's how we inform the user. So I'm going to take that comment out. Save the email locally so you don't need to ask the user for it again. If they open the link, save it locally so you don't need to ask for it again if they open the link on the same device. So let me tell you what they're talking about there. That, let's suppose you're on your laptop and you go to the web application and you say, you type in your email to log in, and you send the email link to your email. But then instead of accessing your email on your laptop, which is where the request to log in originated, instead you access your email on your phone and you click on the login link on your phone. I mean, that should log you in too, but there's some issue related to some security issue there. I think it's a minor issue, and I didn't dig into it very deeply, but I'm going to just follow the recommendation on that. So in that scenario where you're possibly on a different device, you want to ask the user, you want to make the user verify that the email is what they want to use to log in. So that is that thing. And like I said, I didn't dig into the very bottom of that, and but you might want to do that if you wanted to. So here's here's my code that I developed before, which I got from the documentation, by the way. We could try to get it from the documentation. We look inside here. Here they're talking about security concerns, what I just talked about, to prevent a sign-in link from being used to sign in as an unintended user or on an unintended device. So for that, to prevent this unintended sign-in to happen, Firebase Auth requires the user's email address to be provided when completing the sign-in flow. For the sign-in to succeed, the email address must match. So they've got some code that shows you how to do that here. And basically what they're doing is when they get the email, they write it into local storage. And then when the sign-in happens, they get it out of the local storage. So let me do it here. This is local storage, right? So it should be local storage set item. Where is that? They don't show that in there anywhere. And it'll be in here. This is where it is. See, it's what they call set item. So local storage, that set item. So here it is where we do the yep. All right. So when the user clicks send email login link, that's when we write the email into local storage. So it's up here. This is send email login link. And this is the part where we write the email into local storage. So it'll be like this. It'll be local storage dot set item. And the item we're going to call it email. This is the key, and then here's the value, A_email. A_email. And then that's the end of that. So that's where we write that into local storage. And then when the login completes, what we're going to do here is we got to take this email. We get the email from somewhere. We get the email. So we got the email. So we're gonna get it from somewhere. And let's see where do they show it here? Yeah, this I have to explain this. All right. So this is the part, we got this part, when the user goes to the web page and clicks the send email link. But if the user is loading the web page because they clicked the email link, then this code should run right in here. So where do we check that? Here we go. This is where we're going to check that. We do that here. We call this right there. So we get the Firebase auth module selected here. We get a reference to it. Then we call the is sign in with email link function, and we pass in this. See, window. This is a global object, so we don't really need that. We can just do it like this. Local location.href. That's our current URL, and we want to know, we're going to pass that into this function, is signed with email link. So if that returns true, then it means that the page load is for clicking the login link sent to email. So we know that at this point. All right, so that we're coming into the email. Now, once we have this, then what do? Then we're going to, we pull the email out of the local storage. Additional state parameters can also be passed into the URL. It's triggering it. Get the email if available. This should be available if the user completes the flow on the same device where they started. So we're going to basically get the email. This is how they do it. They're going to say email. Maybe they use, I'm going to use let email equal local storage dot get item, and we called it email. That's all we called it. So we get that item, and now we want to see if, here's the check. So we're going to have an if clause here. If there is no email, right? If there was no email stored, if there's no email stored, then we need to prompt the user for the email. And they use this window prompt. This is how they do it. You could do it a different way, but this is how they do it. And I'll just stick that in there. Please provide your email for confirmation. I'll get rid of that. And so that's where we ask for the email. So now now we have the email. We either got it from local storage, we got the email they're trying to sign in to, or if they're on another device, that's different from the device that we originated the login link request from, then we're going to prompt the user for the email and they type it in. So in either case, we have the email. Now we want to see if that email is valid. So we pass it into this this function, sign in with the email link. And let's go ahead and I'll just, just grab that here. In fact, I just grab this whole thing, right? Sign in with email link. So what we could do is we could just call login directly right here, or put this code up in the login function. I think what I'm going to do here is, because here I'm testing to see this is true. Yes, it is a login, right? So this is a login. So we could do it like that. Maybe that's what I'm going to do. So once this comes out true, then we're going to call this. We're just going to call login. There we go. We're just going to call login. And then this goes into the login function. And else, if this is not true, it's not an email login. And so that's what we call login. Otherwise, what we're going to do is render this business here. Okay. So I think that's all right. I think that's fine. I kind of don't like that. It doesn't look very symmetric because, if it's a page load from an email link click, then I call this function. Otherwise, I just do this material. It seems like this should also be a function as well. And so maybe that's what I could do. So this is just like an ordinary page load. This is we can call it like this. This is the login page load, just to be explicit. We call that the login page load. And here we're going to call this is a normal page load, a normal page load. Let's do it like that. And this would be a normal page load. So if we do a normal page load function, normal page load, look at that. And let's go ahead and put that in there. Yeah, I'm just trying to make that code easier to comprehend by giving it some structure there, something that is sort of gives us a hint about how things are working. So once again, we've got we say that we've loaded because this is the loaded event here. So we're saying we're loaded, and then we check to see, is this a login? Is it a login page load, or is it a normal page load? There we go. I think that's pretty clear. A normal page load means we're already logged in, and we're good to go. See, and no, it means we're not logged in. Actually, this is the this should be not the normal page load. This is the I think we're going to need to add a lot more code in there. It's not, if we're already logged in and we reload the page, then we probably don't need to do this. So we're going to have to think through that a little more. So sorry about this being a little fuzzy, I know. This is me doing the problem though. All right. Let's see, I'm going to go back to here. This is, send the login link. I'm going to go back to this. Sort of a little bit messed up here. Send the login link. This is where we write the email into local storage. So we did this. This is complete. I believe it's already complete. We send the login link. And what is this? Send sign in to send email login link. This is where we send it. And oh, here it is. So once that's been sent, we let the user know. and then we save that here. So this should be this one. Actually, I had that in the wrong spot. I'm going to put it down here. So I'm going to grab that and paste that right in there. All right, there we go. And so now this is a promise. So we call the then method, and we specify the code that is the normal case, and it was the successful login, and not a successful login, that the link was successfully sent. And then otherwise, if there's an error, then we're going to do that here. So, you know, I think we could just do console log, console.log, and we'll just pass in that error. All right, that's good. And I'm going to get rid of that. All right, that was tough, and I didn't explain that very well, I know. So that's the send email login link. Now, when it's a page load, what do we call this thing? This is called a login page load. I didn't actually label this one yet. The login page load is going to be this guy right here. This is the login page load. All right, let's figure this out. So we're going to do, it's a login page load. I thought I just had a lot of that in there. This is send the email link. This is the login page load. All right. This is it right here. If is sign in with email link, if it is sign in with email link, then we do the login page load. So then we got to do all of this business right here. I'll just grab that. What the heck? Grab that, and we'll bang that into the shape that we need it to be in. Where is that? That is, here it is. And we're not going to do any pretending anymore. Get rid of that. So here, and I'm going to make that a const, not a const, I'll make it a let. Let the email equal local storage. So we get the email out of the local storage. We call it just email. We didn't give it that stuff. And the editors helped me out. Thanks. There we go. That's done. Take that off. So there's the email from the local storage. If it wasn't found, if it's not in the local storage, then we got to get it from the user. So let's go ahead and do that. I know I already entered this in there, didn't I? Really kind of mixed up today. So once again, Windows, the global object, we can omit that. And there we go. And so here we have this test. We get the email either from the user or for local storage, one or the other. Okay. And then what we want to know is, well, now that we have that email, is that the email that Firebase thinks is being used to log in? So we're going to check that. We call that with that sign in with email link. This is the final sign in. This actually completes the sign in. That's why we had this. Look up here. See this setting right there. Handle code in app true. That means that the login is actually completed in app, and it's done with this call right there. All right. So this sign in with email link returns a promise. So we're going to see what happens when it's resolved. It returns a result, and we want to clear the email from the local storage, because we don't need it there anymore. Once again, that's global. Take that out, and we called this thing just email. And I've been using quotes, but you can use single quotes too. It's all right. I'm just trying to be consistent. And so the result user is the user. We're probably going to need to use that at some point. I'll just go const user equals result user. I think that's what it is. Yeah, there it is. Result.user right here. That's what we're going to get. And I'm going to look at all this other stuff. We're just going to take that out. And let's see the catch function here. I know I just looked at something similar to that. That's up here. Just going to print that error. There we go. So that's, did I just put that in logout? What the heck? This is the, how could I be this confused right now? This is the login page load. And why am I in logout? This doesn't make any sense. I went into the wrong function. It's in this one. It's up in here. So this is the login page load. We're gonna complete the login. And then once this, if we don't throw an exception, that means we're good. And I think I'm just going to comment that out. We don't need that, but it's good to know that we can get at it. So here we set the message. We say we're logged in, and you know, logging in. We're not logging in anymore. We are logged in. So we set that to none. This is logged in. This set the block to make it visible, and we need a logout button. So we have it in like that. Okay. So that's good. That is very good. Everything is done there. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to chop that out. All right. So that's the, so I'm pretty solid. I got this. I understand this. This is the function that we call when the user clicks the button to log in. It says, send me a login link to my email. So that handles that. And this is the function that gets called when the user clicked the email link in the email and loaded the page that way. And that's where we complete the login with this function call right there. And then we, of course, adjust all this business. All right. Now, the logout function is, yeah, we'll have to finish this later. Okay, not yet. This is not yet implemented. And this is the normal page load. I don't know, is that right? We have something that's called a normal page load here. So this is the normal page load. Is this isn't quite right. This is if we're logging in, then we do this. And if we're logging in, we do that. If we're not logged in, let's do it like this. This is confusing to me. So if we're, I'm going to just do this. I'm just going to hit return there. So if we are logged in, then just if the user happened to reload the page, if we're logged in, then we normally, or maybe it's a persistent login actually. So we don't have to keep clicking the login link all the time. So if we are logged in, then if we are logged in, then it's a logged in page load. A logged in page load. There is no normal page load. Logged in page load. And if we're not logged in, so if we're logged in, so I'll just say that's true. So let's suppose we are logged in. Then otherwise, we're not logged in. If we're not logged in, then we got to do this. This is the not logged in. This is the logged in page load. And there we go. This is the not logged in page load. So this is the logged out. This is the logged out page load. And so this would be the logged out page load. Logged out page load. That's where we do that. So we have the three kind of choices there. And let me do it like this. I think this is easier to read. There we go. Make that an else if, get rid of that return. So if we did a page load, that's a login page load, then we run that function. If we then we got to find out if we are logged in. It must be something like this. Watch, I'm going to guess at it. It's got to be through that auth. I wonder if I can do. I wonder if I could do this. I'm going to do const auth equals firebase.auth, and I'm just going to call that auth to shorten it up a little bit. And otherwise, if we are logged in, then how do we know if we're logged in? So we'll do it like this: auth dot something like, are we logged in? It must be in there somewhere. Get logged in or something like that. So let's go back to the documentation and differentiating email password from email link. And next steps. Oh, here's the logout. Let's just put that in there. This is easy. Logout is easy, so we're going to take care of that. This is the logout, not yet implemented. How do we log out? Well, we get this auth module we call sign out. It returns a promise, and we respond to the promise. And what we do is we do this stuff. There we go. We do that right there. And I'm going to do this. Let's see. And this is the error. I'm just going to grab some of that generic error code there. I'll just type it in there. So console.log error. And this is the logout. So logout is good. And we just display the login button, that's all. All right. And so logout is good. That's if we click the login button. So we got to make sure that we get the login style. Yeah. We turn these off, but I wanted to do one more thing in there, and that is the login button. You want to make sure that that's rendered, that's enabled. So it'll look something like this. This one right here. This button here. This A send link button. We have to make sure that that's enabled. So we have logout right here. We set a message and disabled. We're going to set disabled. Disable is set to true. Disable that. No, I'm sorry. We're going to say false. We have to set that to false. So the send is that right? Send the link button. Yeah, we set that to, we have to enable it. And then there we go. I think that's going to work. All right. So logout is good, I believe. Just get rid of that. And so I still need this situation where we have the logout button clicked. Yeah, we have the logged out page load. We could actually, you know, there's some duplicate here. This is this stuff here. And block, add event listener. There we go. So the logged in page load, that's the one we need to do now. Logged in page load. Oh yeah, well, we have to check this. Are we logged in? How do we know if we're logged in? How do we know if we're logged in? Let's see. So I'm going to go back here. This is action code settings. This is where we want to send the login link. And then we have security concerns. This is where it is a page load. It's a login page load. This returns true. And this is email provider credential with link. Construct the email link credential. What is this? Something about mobile devices. I think we can skip that. I don't think that we need that. After asking the user for their email, provide your email. What is this? Oh, that's another thing we don't need. And this is the sign. Now, somehow this doesn't look right. Let's see. I'm going to go back to here. This is the email auth provider. That's what we have here, right? Email auth provider. Let's look at the methods. It must be down here. Credential with link, provider. How do we know if we're signed in or not? You know what? I solved the problem before. I'm gonna go and look. All right, how did I do it before? All right, we checked to see if we're signing in with the email. We did this already. And then we do this sign in. Otherwise, we do all this stuff. And Oh, yeah. Now send auth, call, login, send. I don't get it. What are we doing? Login, callback. I still don't see how this works. Sign in with email link. Oh, I see. Here's the else. Yeah. So it's a regular page load. We don't know if we're already logged in or not. And but it looks like logging in is set to block. We look like we do a regular login, so I don't get that. It's just a regular regular login. So it's going to show that you're there to be logged in. So I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't understand it. Can you believe it? I don't understand this. So let me go through it again. All right, the DOM is loaded. Now, if it's an email login, then we just called out. We did that already. Otherwise, we go onto the page and we want to know if we're logged in or not. And if we're not logged in, there's going to be a way to determine if I'm logged in. There's going to be a way to do that. It has to be in here somewhere. This is email auth provider, overview auth. It's in the auth object. Here it is, current user. And the currently signed in user or null. So that's auth.current user. So this would be if auth.current user. So if the current user is, it says it could be null, right? So let me check for null. I'm going to check for null. So null means you're not logged in. That's what it means, right? It could be null. So I didn't want to use current user because what if the current user's name is false? And then, then this will actually, anyway, I didn't want to take that chance. So I'm checking to see if the current user is null. And if the current user is null, that means that, that they're not logged in. And so it should be the logged out page load is what we want there. Otherwise, we are logged in, so we want the logged in page load. The logged in page load. The logged in page load. We should have maybe a underscore message dot inner text, was it? Or was it inner HTML? I can't remember. And that's, I think it's up here. Inner HTML, that's it, inner HTML. Inner HTML is set to logged in. Just do it, keep it simple. And we're going to do logged, what is it, logging in, logged in. It's going to look like this. It's going to be logged in is block. Display attribute of logged in will be set to block. And we want to make sure that that button is enabled. And it's enabled by default, so you probably just leave it out. I'm just going to leave it out. All right, so it's the logged in page load. This is the logged out page load. If it's the logged out page load, then we want to do logging in is set to block. And this event listener here. So yeah, we need that event listener as well. Up here, we're going to need an event listener up here. and it's going to be the logout button, the A logout button, add event listener, log out, log out. I think that should do it right there. I think I got every case now. This could do it right here. Do we go through it again or just try it? Let's go through it one more time. So when the page loads, we're in 3 different possibilities. That's what's tested here. 3 different possibilities. So what we do is we check to see are we loading from clicking on the login link. We call this function. Otherwise, if we're not logging in by clicking on the login link, then do we have a current user? That means we're logged in. So if we don't have a current user, then we call the logged out page load method. If we do have a current user, then we're going to call the logged in page load method. And I'm going to put these in the same order that I have them up there. I like to clean things up a little bit. Also helps me read the code again, looking for bugs. The logged out page load. So we set the logging in to make it look like we're logging in. We turn that on. We arm the send link button. That's cool. And then the logged in page load function. We're already logged in. We're just reloading the page. We're going back to it. We're going to say logged in. Actually, we should say something up there as well, right? So when we're going to say we're logged out. So it's the logged out page load. We're going to tell them they're logged out with that message. And then here, we're going to tell them they're logged in with the message. And we need to render that logged in block. And right now that block only has a logout button in it, I believe. Let's see, logged in, right? Look at that. Here's a logged in, that's that div. What do we have? We have a logout button. Oh, we also have this hi, all right? That'd be like the stuff from the database, something like that. So we display that, and then we make sure that the logout button is going to work. I think we got everything. I just went through it one more time, and this is a little messy up here. This send email link. We have these action code settings, and we pass it into this function. We have a promise, and we do this stuff right here. So login link is sent to email. Oh, one thing I want to do up here, when the user clicks the login, the send login button, where is it? So when the user clicks this thing here, what we want to do is turn that off. We want to disable that button because we don't want the user to accidentally click it twice. So we want to disable that. So I'm going to just do it right here and grab that. And so once they click this button, we just want them to execute the code once here. So true, yeah, we want the send link button disabled. That's where we set it to true. And then we go ahead and set this action code settings, and this, we could put everything right in there, make it easier. This is global. Just take that out. Let's clean that up a little. It's I guess we could leave it like that. And here's the promises, one promise. And so when we call this send sign-in link to email, we would pass in the email. I wanted everyone to notice something if you've actually been listening this long. I mean, this is the way I normally work, right? I do a lot of thinking. I have to read the code, read it again, work it, make sure it makes sense in my head. I don't want to test too early. I don't want to run it too early. Otherwise, it's just kind of random. So I need to think it through over and over again. So let me keep thinking. I'm right at the end here. So this is where we send the link. We tell Firebase to go ahead and send, and then we sent that it was. Then we say that it was sent, and then what do? We put that email inside the local storage, and that's it. Then we're done. We disable the send button. We could re-enable the send button, but then you're going to have another login link sent, and I think the user could just reload the web page to get that button re-enabled. All right, I think we're at a testing point here, and you know, I'm trying to pause this thing and it never works. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'll have to just do it up here. There we go. It's Shift P. I don't know why it doesn't work. All right, let's do it. We're going to test this thing. And I think I'm at the testing point. Actually, the server's been running. Let me clear this thing. Load. It says I'm logged out. This is the email. I didn't want to use that email. I did not want to use that email. I want to use a different email. So where do I do that? That's in, yeah, you know, I got this, there it is, get that out of the way. So the email is here. I want to use my other email. So it's, let's see, dturner at csusb.edu. I think I want to try that. There we go. So send the login link. Let me do that. Uncaught message. Email must be a valid string. Okay, line 98. Uncaught. Is that right? Line 98? args.js 98. That doesn't look like it's where I need to be. Let's see, I'll look inside here. Oh, here's line 7. It says send email login link. It's line 7 in 8.js. There's line 7. That doesn't make any sense to me. So let's look here. Oh, there it is. A_email. A_email. That is not the email. That's the div element. So it'll be should be a little different than that. It's going to be it's a.email dot value. I believe that's what it is. And once again, this is the same thing. Dot value. You know what? Let me call it just email. Let me just call it email, because I use it more than once here. I'm going to just call it email there and there, and I'm going to pull it out up here. I'll do it right there. So I'll do const email equals a_email a_email dot value. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Then, well, we'll check it. Alert email. And then I'll just return, because I don't want to do anything after that. I just want to test that. Let me just test that. So we send the login link, and that's it. See, that's good. All right. So we're going to get rid of these two lines and let that go through now. Let that go through. Here, reload. They got everything all cleared out. I'm going to send the login link. Login link sent to email. Can I keep it? Should be disabled now, right? It doesn't look disabled to me. But let's see. I'm going to check my email. Oh, we got a bunch of them there. Sign in. Look, I'm logged in. And I'm going to open up the console. And I am logged in. See that? Now, I'm going to stay in this particular web. Look at all this data that it's sent. See that? That is Firebase sending that. I'm going to reload the page. This should execute. When I reload the page, it should be it should execute the logged in page load. So it'll say logged in, and I'll be able to click that logout button. I can click the logout button now anyway, but just to check it, see. It says logged out. So when I reload the page, I'm logged out. Didn't know that would happen like that. So because the current user turned up null, well, this is going to be false. So we didn't call that, I think. So this is the logged out page load. So the logged in page load, it would say logged in, but it says logged out. So I screwed this up. I don't know what's going on there. So why? So that means I need to, once I reload the page, I'm logged out. All right. So that's how that works. All right. I didn't know that. Once I reload the page, I'm logged out. That's as simple as that. So send the login link sent to the email. This is the old one here. Let me get rid of this. How do I delete that? There it is. These are the old ones. I might get rid of these. So there's the login link. It says I'm logged in. And so if I reload, it's going to run. It's going to run. It's going to come up. The current user is going to come up null, right? So this is auth. Let me look at Firebase.auth in the console here. Like I'm going to do this. I'm going to let auth equal Firebase.auth. All right, that's auth. And it says undefined. Okay, is that really undefined? It's not undefined. So the auth dot current user, right? That's it right there. It shows it to you right here. That's the current user. So you know that is good, right? So that's the current user. Watch this. I'm going to do this. the current user dot email. Watch this. So I'm going to go up arrow there. Dot email. It's one of the. See that? Look at that. There's my email right there. So this auth.current user exists. All right. Now watch this. This is my console dot log, and this is will reload. I just want to have a note in my interface here that I'm reloading. Okay. So we're going to reload. Now, after I reload, I want to see what auth.currentUser shows, okay? So I'm going to reload this thing. Oh, but if I reload, I'm going to reload with all of that in it, see? So if I reload, I'm going to reload with this. Look at that. Look at that. So that should be okay. I'll remain logged in. Oh, look at this, because we deleted the email from the local storage. So I'm going to type in my email and it's going to verify that. Yeah, it lets me log in. Well, look, it's got some error here. The action code is invalid. What the heck? The action code is invalid. Why does that say is malformed, expired, or has already been used? I'm going to look at this auth. Auth is not defined. Because I reloaded the web page. So I'm gonna. That's auth is now defined, although it does say undefined. There it is. Okay, so if I reload on this, I get this funny error message here, but it doesn't. Not this error message, but this other one. That something has been. I think it's something has already been used. Same as already been used. But it lets me stay logged in. Now, if I take this out, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to put that little marker in there. We'll reload, okay? But this time when I reload, I'm going to take out that business, okay? Now I'm going to reload this. It says I'm logged out. I'm going to get the auth module there. And then I'm going to try, well, look, it still comes up current user. Current user. So current user, I should be logged in. So I got my misunderstanding there. I'm still logged in. So what is wrong with my code? If auth.currentUser equals null, all right? If auth.currentUser is not null, I'm going to compare that to null. So that should be false. So this should be false. So that's false. So I'm logged in. So what the heck? Logged in shows me. Why don't I execute that? If auth, we call logged out page load. This says if that's true, we call that, but we're not. We call this. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to say alert. This is this should not run because it's not null. It's not null. So this is false. So this will not run. We're not logged out. We're logged in. So we should run this one. So I'm going to just say over here, console.log, all seems okay. And then we're going to come in here and all seems double okay. How come we're not getting there? I don't see it. I know you probably see it. If you're following this carefully, you might see the bug I've got in there. Something wrong with my reasoning. I'm going to go ahead and do this again. I'm clearing this because it's getting messy. And I'm going to reload this thing because we did change the code. And this should not run. Look at that. This should not run. Now, why did that show up like that? So it says this should not run. So the auth.current user is coming up null. And this is auth.firebase.auth, right? So it's const auth equals firebase.auth. And then that's false. But why? That's coming up, that's false. So why does this run? What the heck is going on? That's coming up false. And yet this still runs. What the heck? What the heck? Why is that like that? It says log down. I know it's doing something really stupid, right? So this runs, and what the heck? All right, if the current user is not equal to null, let's do that. If the current user is not null, if the current user is not null, then it means I'm logged in. I'm logged in. So I should say everything looks all right. I should say that I'm logged in right there. And the logged in section is opened up. And I arm that logout button. That's if the current user is not null. So that makes sense to me. So I should run this. Call that function. Otherwise, we got to call the other function, which is the logged out page load. All right. Now, I don't know why that wasn't working. Maybe this isn't going to work. Let's see. You're probably seeing the mistake and I can't see it. So I'm going to reload this thing. It says I'm logged out. I'm logged out. Right, this says I am logged out. So I do Firebase.auth dot current user. It shows something. Not equal to null. That's true. So this is not equal to no. So I should run logged in page load, logged in page load. But this does not run. This runs. So some reason this is coming up. Why would this come up null like that? Maybe because I call this first. If this is This is the login page load. Maybe it's going login page load. Login page load. It's not asking me for my email, so it doesn't run that. I can't get this figured out. Why would this show up as not null? You know, I am really baffled on this one. You know, let me look at my other code. This is so baffling to me. This is how I did it over here. Here's the page load. This is where I check to see if it's a login page load. And, you know, I get the email from local storage, I prompt for this, I call sign in with email link, and then I remove from local storage. And I save the user. I say I'm logged in. So this is all good, right? Else, let's suppose this is false. If this is false, so I only have one case here. If it's false, I say, well, I'm logged out. Add the event listener. So basically, I say that I'm logged out. So I'm doing the code differently this time. I cannot get that figured out. So I am doing the code differently this time. See, the problem I'm trying to solve is when you reload the page, there is a current user, Firebase, but maybe it's not logged in. Is that what it is? No, because this comes up not null here. So this comes up, let's look at this. I'm going to do this. Alert. Let's see if that's true or not. But this auth is not defined here. I'm going to get that auth up there. I'm going to put that up there. So this should be true. It should be true when I reload the page. It's false. It is false. So this comes up false. That comes up false. Now, the thing is, we're executing this, aren't we? This may be changing the state somehow. So that comes up false. But when I type that in here, firebase.auth user, current user, not equal to, no, this should be true. It comes up true, but it comes up false when I load the page. So why? That means this call here changes this. So this comes up, let's do it like this. This comes up false. And then after this gets called, we'll do it like this. This gets called inside here. And then I'm going to return. And then I'm going to go into this block of code here. And I'm going to run the same thing. So this is the same. This should be alert false and alert false. It's the same thing, right? So if this call is sign in with email link changes auth.current user, then we're good. So let's see. Then we've got somewhere to go to look at. So this should come out. This should not run, right? So this should not alert. I should not run in the test that we're going to do. But we're going to run this one instead. All right, let's try that. All right. So clear this, reload. False, false. So this did turn out to be false. So what's going on with this? This is false. So in other words, there is a current user. Am I screwing this up? So this is false, which means we're logged out. Wait a minute, so we're logged out. So this came up false. This came up false. Wait a minute. Firebase auth current user is not null. And that comes up true. I cannot figure that out. Do not figure that out. Maybe auth. The problem is this auth thing? You know, don't get it. No, sir. This is a tough one. Why would this be like this? So when we finish with this, maybe this is getting loaded faster than I thought. Let me think. I gotta pause. I have no solution for this right now. I still don't understand this, but I think maybe what happens is this auth current user is changed its state after this method runs. So I'm going to test that. Let me test that. So basically, this is coming up in an unexpected situation. So this is this turns out to be false. That it is null. There is no current user. So we're going to do the logout page load, right? So this is false. So basically it looks like this. It's going to look like this. So it's, we do console.log. This should show false, right? Should print false. And then we're going to do set to timeout. And we have a callback function here. Yeah, let's do it. And here I'm going to do the same thing, console.log. And this should be different. It should be true. That's like typing it in at the browser window. So that should print 2. I'll put a 2-second wait. That's a long time. And let me, is that right? Yeah, that's good. I think that's everything right in there. So that's should print true. This is what I'm thinking. So that means that this auth.current user won't be not null until after this event is processed. All right, let's see if that's the case. Okay. So I'll go back to here and let's go ahead and reload this. False and true. Should be false, should be true. Finally, I got something I understand. All right, so that's what's going on. This apparently this auth system doesn't recognize that it's logged in yet until after this DOM content loaded. So it must do it inside DOM content loaded, just like me. So I was reading, the reason I got that idea there was because I was reading through the documentation and I came across where is it? I came across this inside the auth object. They have something, they have these methods, which is, where is it? On auth state changed. So basically this thing gets called when there's a state, a change in the state of the authentication system. So, and look at it, and it passes in the user object. So I think that's how we can do this. That's one way to do it. So this procedure is not reliable. This we're going to do something like this. We're going to do we'll do this. We'll do function auth state changed. Just call it like that. And so we can register it right in there. Firebase.auth. We already have it defined there. So I'm just going to do auth dot on auth state changed. We get a user object here, and just to shorten it up a little bit, I'm going to show you some alternative syntax. See, this is getting more popular. It's a single argument, so you can leave the parentheses out. Otherwise, you know, if you want to, you can put those in there. It doesn't matter. And so once we get the user, we have the user, right? So anyway, that's that. If on auth state changed, I think if the user's null, then they're signed in. If the user's not null, then they're, so if the user object is, so if the user object is not null, that's not null. No, I'll say if it's null. If it's null, it's a positive. If it's null, then they're not logged in. In that case, it's the logged out page load. That's the logged out page load. Else, it's going to be the logged in page load. You know, it doesn't read very well, does it? So Let's see, what's the best way to do this? I'll put it in there for now, but it's, like I said, it doesn't read well. And let me take this out. There we go. Oh, this is the experiment here. So once again, when the document object is loaded, we get a reference to this auth library. We say loaded. I'm going to put it up here. So the first thing we do is say we're loaded. Then we get a reference to the library. And then we register this callback on auth state change. This is our auth state change here. That's the handler. And oh, we're not calling that function. We're just implementing it right inside here. So on the auth state changed, I mean, we could just call this, right? So this could be on auth state changed, and I could pass in the user object here. Let me do that. So on auth state changed, it's auth state changed. And this code is going to go up there. There we go. And what is this? We got the function already. Slide this over a little. There we go. So the auth state changed, and we get the user object when that thing gets called. If the user's null, then it's a logout page load, and then it's a login page load. But you know, these are now kind of misleading, because if we hit the logout button, it's not a page load, but this auth state change is gonna run. So these names aren't that good. So what I'm gonna do there is do this. I want to bring this in here because I don't like those names, and it's not that much code anyway. So where am I here? Put that in like that. So when the auth state changes, we're going to check to see, all right, the user, is the user null? That means we're logged out. So we're going to say we're logged out, and we're going to display the logging in block, and the logged out block, we're going to turn that to null, none. So this is the logging in. This is the logged in. Right, that should be set to none. And we want to make sure that this, do we need to bother with that registration there? I don't think we need that. That could be done down here. I'm going to put it down here. Actually, it could be, it doesn't have to be in here. It could be anywhere. It could be here, right? This is where it could be. Maybe it's a little early for that, because I don't, just in case the user clicks the button, I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to put it right in there. That's the that's that one. And I'm going to, might as well just stick this in there too. It only has to be done once at the beginning, and we don't change those. Although we disable them and enable them, but we don't change our handlers. So I'm going to leave it like that. And This is where we register this listener right there. And this is where we do that. Okay, so that looks all right. That's the login page load. So this is the this is the logged in page load. So here we go. So if the user is null, then that's good. Otherwise, we say they're logged in. The user's not null. That means they're logged in, and the logged in block is turned on, and we should allow for the logout button. So we want to have some enabling and disabling going on here. And where is that? This is this disable thing up here. So when the if we're logged in, we want the logout button. This is the logout button to be not to be disabled. But when we're not logged in, we want the send button to not be disabled. All right, there we go. This is easy to understand. And this guy down here, kind of like, all right, this is all right. I guess this is okay. This code here, this is if we're sign in with the email link, and this says page login page load. So I'm wondering whether to do something with that. This is the logout button. Probably want to look at that again. This is the log. You know what? We probably don't need this here. Like, so when we log out, see this sign out, when we call sign out, we're not reloading the page or anything like that. We're just changing the state of the authentication. So this auth state change should run, which, and the user should end up to be null when we hit logout. So all of this code will execute. So that means we don't need that, or that, or that, or that. All we have to do is call this function. And then when the auth state changes, this is going to run down there. And then we have a error here. So actually nothing happens inside the then. So this is signing out. Oh, you know what we ought to do here? When the sign out is clicked, so this is on logout, right? So on logout, we call this sign out. When we log out, I think what we want to do is turn off. This is the logout button. We want to disable the logout button. As soon as we hit it, and we're going to log out, we're going to disable the logout button. There we go. That's making sense. There we go. Disable that logout button. There's nothing to do if when this promise completes, does it mean we're logged out? It might, but I'm going to go with this pattern here, which is this auth state change is going to get invoked. So I'm going to wait on that one. This is just if there's an error, and I guess that's all right. I guess that's okay. Leave that alone. And then it was this code up here, which is this is the login page load. So This is the send signed in link to email. This is clicking that button. This is good. This is send the email login link. It's this code here. I'm thinking about moving it down. And this is the login page load. Just look, this code here is we're logged in. But that code there is executed here, right? Logged in. This is set to block, and so on. Although the button is so, and this we don't need. This is redundant. See this one right there? We already have this down here, right there. That's redundant. And so this code is gonna run inside this handler here, so I don't need. That's also redundant. And I'm missing one thing though. This is missing. This needs to go in here. So the logging in is, we're not logging in. We're going to set that display attribute to none. And we are logged in, and so we set the display attribute to block. And we enable the logout button, and we give them a message. So that looking pretty good there. Now I'm starting to get comfortable with the code there. I had a panic there for a minute. Not a panic, but a slow up, that's for sure. And all right, so this is not needed. That's the login, not that one. It's this one up here. Yeah, the login page load. This is login page load. So we're coming back to here. This is the login page load, right? It's the login page load. So login page load. And we need to verify this stuff at the email. And then we got to call this login page load, sign in with email link. That has to be called. Then we remove the local storage. This is going to be removed because we do that in here. So when the auth state changes, this is actually so much cleaner. When there's a user, we're logged in. When there's no user, we're logged out. So it's a lot simpler to think about. And I don't like the name of this function. This is the login page load. So this is the login page load. It's not too bad. Maybe I'll leave it alone. Maybe I'll leave that alone. So we do it here. I could drop that code down into that block, or else just leave it as a separate function. Yeah, I can't decide on that, but I think it's going to work. Let me leave it alone for now. And testing. Let's test. And I'm running out of energy here. Let me get this. I know I've been going a long time. Let's see. Where is it? There it is. Clear that. Reload. I'm logged in. Look at that. All right, I'm logged in. When I log out, I'm logged out. I reload, I'm still logged out. All right. I log in, send the link. It says the link is sent. By the way, I'm gonna send that again. Did it send it twice? Let me get rid of that. There, boy, that was slow. That was really slow. All right. Oh, see, I hit it twice and it came in twice. Now, I thought I was disabling those things, so I got an error in there. So when I click the, I should be disabling that button so I don't click it twice. This is send the login link button, and we add the event listener send email login link. The send email login link is here. Then send link button disable is true, and that is not working. So how do I disable a button in code? All right. This is a lot of stuff here. How to disable button in code. And I didn't say anything about being web-based. How do I disable a button? How do I disable a button? How do I disable a click button? Disabled is set to true. Disabled attribute is set to true. Now why isn't that working? So this is disabled. Ah, yeah, that's a D. All right, so let me get that down here. Disabled. You got to fix that everywhere. Is that right? And let's keep going there. And there's no disabling down there, right? So that's good. So I'm going to go back to here and clear this thing. All right. We're not logged in, we're logged out, okay? I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete that. And now I'm going to send the login link. And there it is. It's disabled. And the message is we sent the link. Come to email. We get the link. Follow the link. Now we are logged in. All right. Finally working. And I'm going to open that up. So this is the separate web page, right? This is the page we originated from. Oh, and look at that. Look at that. The stat, now it says we're logged in here. And the reason is, see, and this is we're logged in 2 pages. The reason is because we have this auth state changed. So even though we completed the login here in this tab, well, this tab is also running, and it received from Firebase a notification that the authentication state has changed. It should go the other way. When I log out, this function should run for both web pages. So I should be able to log out in either page. If I log out in this page, or if I log out in this page, I'm going to log out in the other page. Let me test it. So I'll be in the new page. We'll log this one out. Okay. We logged it out, and then we check this first page. Am I logged out? I am. I'm logged out. So there we go. That's that auth state change. That's looks like that's the way to do it. It took a long time to hammer that out, but you know, we got that. We nailed it, and that was a long trip. That was a long journey to get this working, but we got it working. And one last, I'm still thinking about reorganizing this code here. Login page load. Didn't quite get the name of that. Let me think. Login page load. I think it's just bothering me. Let me see what it would look like if I put it down there. Let me see what it would look like if I dump it into here. I get rid of this section there and I just drop it in here. So, you know, we're loaded. We load these buttons and they're set up, and then we get this auth object. We register the for this handler. That's important. And then we're going to go ahead and do this. So we want to see, is this page load a sign in with the email? Let's see if, are we trying to sign in with the email link? If we are, this is, what did I call that thing? It's like, I called it the login page load. I think the login page load, this is the email login page load. I guess it's all right. I'll leave it like that. It's, I think it's probably as clear as I can make it at the current time. We'll leave it like that. And I think I'm just gonna, to finish it up there, let's do this. Let me kill this. Let me do this. This is my local server. I'm gonna shut it down, Control C. And this is all that business. If I do git status, it shows that I've got two changes. I'm gonna add the changes to the index and status again, and they're ready to commit. I'm gonna commit those changes. And now I want to push them. So I'm going to do a git push. So I got those changes in the repository. Now I want to show you before I quit here how this looks in the remote. And let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of that. Where did I have that link? In my lecture notes. It was that, remember when I deployed the thing? I should have left that console open. Let's do it real quick. So, you know, if I look at hosting, I want to get the URL here. That one. So let's do these both, they go to the same place. It doesn't matter which one we click on. I'll open this up. So we're loaded. It says loaded, right? But we're not logged in. We're not logged in. But it says loaded. I think we were going to change that, weren't we? But I think it's all right. It says hi here. Oh, look at that. See, that's from our hi. This is our old code, see? So we have to run that deploy. We have to run Firebase deploy again to get that the changes deployed. And there we go. That's it. Now let's see. I'm gonna clear the. Shouldn't say hi anymore because we took that out, right? So let's reload. And there it is. It says logged out. That's what I wanted it to say. It doesn't say hi anymore. It's got my new email in there. And I send the login link. It says login link sent to the email. I'm going to try to, no, I won't try to screw it up. Oh, there it is. So this was the old one here. Here's the new login link. And I click on that login link. That says logged in there. And that says logged in too. Look at that. Last time we logged out from this side. This time we're going to log out from this side here. We'll log out with our old page, and we are logged out here too because of the listener. So that's quite nice, and so that's pretty much it. And one more thing to do is to write stuff into the storage. So I'll be looking at that next time. So this was long. I'm going to upload it anyway. It shows me struggling quite a bit. And most people aren't going to listen this far into the video, but if you made it this far, congratulations. And I hope this was a learning experience for you. Thank you. And that's it.